Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the first ever Raw review, Monday Night Raw for May 5th, Revenge of the 5th, Cinco de Mayo, however you want to put it. It is in the books. And let's review it, shall we? So, Monday Night Raw opens up. Jey Uso coming out. And Paul Heyman comes out and completely interrupts. And Paul treats it like a therapy session and just goes off on Roman Reigns, on CM Punk. How could my best friend put me in that situation? How could my tribal chief not trust me? Blah, 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 blah. The whole 9 yards. And Jey says, what's this got to do with me? I'm just here. What's this got to do with me? Well, then Heyman says, with being the World Heavyweight Champion, it comes with a responsibility backstage, the politics that go on. You have to be able to hold that weight, and the person that is best to do that is Seth freaking Rollins. And Heyman throws out the challenge to Jey on Rollins' behalf. Jey accepts for tonight. And it is set for the main event of Monday Night Raw. And then we get into Penta versus JD McDonough. And, well, Finn and Carlito get involved. They get thrown out. Chad Gable tries to interfere with Penta. That doesn't go well. Then Penta avoids the moonsault. Penta hits the Mexican Destroyer for the victory. And I mean, this match was just continuing the storyline between Penta, the New Day, Chad Gable's hatred for Lucha Wrestling, just in time for Triple A to be coming in. So that all happens, and then we cut to a backstage with A-Town Down Under with Austin Theory and Drew Waller talking to Adam Pearce and demands a match. Theory gets his match against a mystery opponent who is the Irish brawler Shamus, making his first return since the Royal Rumble. And pretty much you got the 10 beats of the Ballon, although it ended up being about 14. Road kick. And throughout this entire thing, Drew Waller is noticeably uncomfortable. That's going to be coming to a head in the next few weeks, I would imagine. And then we cut to the backstage to New Day, talking about all that happened with Penta and JD, and Dom is missing Liv Morgan like the rest of us, and AJ comes in, and AJ found it thanks to R-Truth, former member of the Judgment Day. Although, if you ask R-Truth, I believe he still thinks he's a member of the Judgment Day, but who knows? But AJ proclaims his desire to go after the IC title, which is going to be on the line at Backlash, and AJ is going to go after the winner. And Dom asks Finn, hey, you two were buddies. You think you can get him sorted out? And passive-aggressively, Finn says, yeah, I got you, kid. So, I'm not a body language expert, but I am a sarcasm expert. I don't think Finn's gonna do much. Probably not. Maybe. Finn may still be a good friend. And then we get to Becky and Lyra Valkyria's promo. Little promo battle and eventual brawl. Becky comes out with a victim mentality. She's calls Bayley garbage, takes credit for all of Lyra's success, including her fiance, whoever that may be. I don't know. I don't keep track of their personal lives because I don't care. And Lyra comes in saying, you take holidays. I've defended the title more times and you've showed up to work. And then you had a pretty good brawl afterwards. I like this segment. This was I really liked it. Had a scrum, people coming in trying to break it up, failing, and yeah, it was a good little fight there. Which then takes us to a non-title match between Roxanne, Perez, and Io Sky. Very good work going into the match and working through the match. Good match. The finish, though, I didn't like. It was a little bit more understandable with what happened after, but it pretty much had the roll around pin 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. That stuff annoys the crap out of me. It's mainly the girls that do it, and I don't know. I never liked that segment, and it makes it so much worse when it ends up one of them being the 1 2 3. And this is actually the first time that I can remember off the top of my head of it actually going that way. But anyway, afterwards, Julia attacks from behind, and then Julia and Roxanne Perez pretty much beats the crap out of Io Sky. And next week on Raw, we're getting Perez and Julia versus Io Sky and the name just blanked. Rhea Ripley. Yeah, that one. Mommy. So Io and Mommy versus Roxanne and Julia next week on Raw. And then we get to the first interesting, another interesting match, I should say. Otis with American Alpha versus Rusev. A returning Rusev, his first match in 5 years. A short back and forth, and then Otis is forced to tap out to the Accolade. Tozawa demands a fight. Rusev fakes a retreat, and then plants Tozawa on Otis. And then Rusev continues to destroy whatever is left of Otis, putting him in the Acolyte until he essentially passes out. Got several referees and rent-a-cops out there trying to pull Rusev off. I like it. You're building Rusev back up. Now, what was very interesting, it's a little nugget that I want to kind of put a pin in with this. Natalya was out there comforting Maxine, who just watched her 2 guys just get destroyed. And Natalya was out there comforting Maxine. So it'd be a little something there. I have not been a big fan of Natalya. She's it's just kind of like a groan and an eye roll whenever you hear that guitar riff. But maybe they do something a little bit different. Actually do something with Natalya. She is a good worker. Don't get me wrong, but she just hasn't been interesting in over a decade. And then we got the McAfee Mac. Good. Probably learn to talk. You have the McAfee Gunther promo. You have Raw General Manager Adam Pearce out there to try to keep the peace. Gunther says, "I'm going to let you walk out by the grace of God, because I am a professional unlike you." And then McAfee goes on to put over Michael Cole, puts over Omaha, references Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola, the head coach and quarterback of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And McAfee snuck in a nice little reference to Walter, his Gunther's previous alias. And then McAfee calls Gunther soft, and you could hear in the crowd the old from Enzo Amore, SAWFT, soft, which was pretty funny. It was pretty funny, even though Enzo is not a good human being, but it was still funny. But Gunther says that you have my full, undivided attention. You have caught me at the worst time. I am now refocused, re-energized after that loss at WrestleMania. So then that leads into Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship match. And really early on, Jey did a really good job of kind of looking out of sorts, kind of like completely unprepared, since this is a pseudo impromptu match. Had an hour and a half to prepare for Rollins. Rollins taunts by laying on the top rope, as he normally does. And then, not too long after that, they end up going back and forth on the knife edge chops that turn into just full-blown blows. Then they each counter each other's moves of the pedigree and the super kick. Then Uso hits a crossbody through the ropes, sends Rollins over the announce table, and then out a commercial for somehow, not sure how, they didn't show it, they didn't reference it, didn't talk about it, don't know. That needs to be cleaned up in production. Rollins back on top after the commercial break. And they hit each other with a double crossbody. Suicide dive throws Jey into the ring. Rollins from the top rope. He does the sets up for like a kind of like how AJ sets up for the phenomenal forearm, but runs right into a super kick. And I believe that was a near fall. Rollins then missed the frog splash, but counters the spear into a pedigree, much like he did with Roman at WrestleMania, and then Roman at Survivor Series 2015. The night the Shield held everyone on the Shield held the title. Rollins won it from Reigns. Ambrose cashed in. And then Rollins missed the stomp, fights out of the sleeper, but then runs into a spear, giving the first real near count. And then the This Is Awesome chants for the second time in the night. And tremendous match. Tremendous match. And then Seth gets headbutted up. Seth and Jey are both fighting for real estate on the top rope. Jey hits Rollins with a couple headbutts. Rollins falls off, drags the ref all the way across the ring. And then Braun Breaker finally gets involved, messing up, getting Jey all distracted. Then Seth hits the Falcon Arrow, then the stomp. Got the near count on the other side. And then Sami Zayn's music hits. Braun Breaker going out to try to meet him on the ramp. Sami Zayn comes out of nowhere and takes out Braun Breaker for the time being. And while that's going on, Jey hits Rollins with the splash, with a spear and then a splash. That's his near count. And then Braun cuts Sami in half with a spear. Probably should have killed him. Would have killed the average man. Definitely would have killed me. And that's me without having my ribcage taped up. Would have most certainly killed me. Jey goes out to check on Sami, stupidly, because then Braun spears Jey as Heyman distracts the ref. And it all sets up. We're going to get a title change. Seth Rollins is going to be the new world champion. And then, like Mussolini, Punk comes out and just lights everybody up with a steel chair. Just destroys Rollins with it, destroys Breaker with it. And then, now, Cole and McAfee, they both instantly, and Jay's going to retain, blah, 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 blah. Now, you want to get a little technical here. I get a little technical here, because got to keep some semblance of realism here. I kind of want to take this seriously. I want to keep kayfabe alive. Got to push that camel out of the tent. We're already too far in the tent. But there was no bell ring to signify the end of the match. A little nitpicky, but overall, this was a very entertaining Raw. The which one did I want to run? McAfee and Gunther. We'll start there. So, if I was Gunther, I would have gone a little bit more personal. He did mention that McAfee just celebrated his daughter's second birthday. I would have gone a step further, and you celebrated her your last one with her. Because I'm going to put you into the ground, and a dozen roses are going to go to that ugly wife of yours. That's what I would have had Gunther's. Something along those lines. And then with Otis and Rusev, little bit too much back and forth for my liking. This should have been just a straight squash. I would say very, very quickly. And I would have rather had, after the match, have Zao come in, challenge Rusev, do the same thing, but when he comes back to do the Acolyte again, put it on Tozawa. And just have Tozawa screaming, tapping, like blood-curdling screams. Get Rusev back over as this unbelievable brute from Bulgaria, And then I would put a post up on X. Tozawa's back has been snapped, and he will be out for the foreseeable future. No timetable for his return. It is not a pretty situation. It is ugly. Oh my God. We have never seen anything like this. Really, just really play it up. Play it up. Now, with Perez and Sky, Roxanne did shake hands at the end. Did show the sportsmanship to get EO off. EO kind of dropping the guard. That was a really nice touch. And you can really tell this was a Triple H special. Triple H is really paying attention here. Because a lot of this was knitted up really, really well. And then Becky and Valkyria, very excited for that match in St. Louis this weekend, which we will be doing a preview sometime this week. I don't know when, but we'll most certainly be doing that. Now, with Theory and Shamus, good return for Shamus. People are making fun of him for the whole looking a little out of shape. I don't care. He's fun to watch. He's good at what he does. I like him. He's fun. 10 beats of the bat, but 10 beats, the road kick. I just want him back. I just want Shamus back. And with JD McDonough and the Penta situation, JD got buried again. He got absolutely buried again. You had Finn and Carlito get involved, Chad Gable get involved, and he still got beat. He still looks like a joke. If that's the way that you want to keep going with JD McDonough, fine. Stop putting him in title matches. No more entertaining that. If he's going to be a joke, let him be a joke. But JD does deserve better. He's very good in the ring. This has to be better. Now, there was a few things with the Valkyria and Lynch exchange. Some of it was a little rocky there. Trying to think off the top of my head. There's a few parts where the delivery could have been a lot better from Valkyria, but that's going to come with time. There's no reason to sound the alarms, but some of the delivery needs to be better. The kind of overdid the Holiday thing, but he just did. You've been on Holiday, and I'm out here defending the title. Now, one of the lines that she did that I really liked, it was really good, was, you were the first to main event WrestleMania. You were the first to win a main event at WrestleMania. You were the first to do this. You were the first to do that. But I am the first women's intercontinental champion. And that bugs you. That irritates you. That it's not you. Great line. Great line. And Becky sold it well, too. And then with Rollins and Jey, they went a little heavy on the false finishes there towards the end, but really like the interference by Paul and by Braun. They did it all very, very well. I didn't like the way that they kind of framed the referee there with the commentary team. They were kind of, they're giving him a lot of leeway here, giving that challenger a lot of leeway because Rollins was going 4.9 on some of the corners and ropes, rope breaks, stuff like that. And he kind of buried the ref there. What I would have done there is the ref, he's obviously going to have a lot of leeway. This is a big match. A lot's at stake here. He doesn't want to be a part of the story. That's why he's giving leeway. Don't bury him. Don't bury the ref. That's the one thing there. So, I believe that is everything that I had to get off my chest. Overall, show, thumbs up. Wrestling is getting very entertaining for me again. That's why I've started doing this. And we'll see you. And Friday night will be the SmackDown review. And sometime during the week, we will be doing the Backlash preview. And hopefully they don't add any matches on Friday night, because that's one hell of a turnaround to try to do. But we're going to assume the card is the card, and they're not going to do anything too crazy. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for the racing stuff that I do. NASCAR, Formula One, college football. That's going to be kicking back up. And yeah. And I think I'm just going to end up dropping the politics and just keep wrestling in, because it suits, it goes a lot better with what I'm trying to accomplish on this channel. So thank you all for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. If you're watching on Rumble, make sure to like the video, follow the channel, and we will see you in the next one.